Hi guys, Martin here. A huge thank you to every single one of our monthly supporters. Without your support, we can't do what we do on a weekly basis. Not yet a supporter? Why not? Please consider supporting us monthly. Anything you give, from £1 upwards, anything at all, is greatly appreciated and helps grow the platform. We've come so far in a year, let's go even further in the next. Thank you. However, if your monthly budget is a bit like mine, a bit sporadic, and you're not quite sure where you are, then please consider giving us on a one-off donation basis. We do, of course, accept those and really cherish every single one of those as well. The link for monthly and a one-off is exactly the same. It's all on Ko-Fi. Head there, and thank you so much. One more thing before you... And it's also in the chat. Good evening, my friends, and you are my friends, and welcome back to your full-time show. It is the match reaction to today's 2-1. Yes, 2-1, not 4-1. That's cost me money. How rude of them. But it's a 2-1 victory on the same. But does it feel like a victory? It's 3 points in the bank. It's 3 out of 6. 2 must-win games over this Easter weekend. Does it feel like a win to you, guys and girls, this afternoon? Does it feel like a defeat? Is it a win, one step forward, but also a step back? Does the performance detract from you, or was it all about getting those 3 points? We've also got Blue Action's action this morning to discuss. If you want to discuss that, then of course you're free to do so. This is your football club. This is your show. So have your say. Whatever you're feeling this evening, I want to hear from you all. Lee Anderson, a win's a win. Exactly. That's how you may feel. Stuart Collin is replying to Victoria, who says, we're just not very good at playing football, are we? Harrison Smith goes to show that even when we play a different formation, we are crap. Almost as if it's the players still fully behind Cook, and he'll change that in the summer. Well, the link midweek didn't say to me he'd change that. 1 goal for 4 assists, was it? I know Stephen's going to come on the show at some point this evening, so I'll get my shield ready. Michael Finch, well, that, my friends, and you are my friends, was fucking shite. Jordan, Curtis, welcome back. We'll start with Curtis. Curtis, you're more than ready. You told me. What did you make of that today?
I think we've pretty much sacrificed performance levels for just grinding out results now. I think that is what Cook is possibly going for now. I don't think he's really bothered about having 2 up front. I don't even think he really cares about what formation he's playing at the moment, because I'm not sure even Mick Mills in that second half didn't understand what formation we were trying to play. So I think he doesn't really care for formation now. I think we're just trying to grind out results and get as far as we can within these next 10 games, because I would be surprised if 8 out of that starting 11 will be in that starting 11 come starting game next year.
Absolutely, yeah. He demanded a reaction today, Jordan. Did you see a reaction from that group of players? They got the win.
Yeah, I wouldn't say a reaction. I'd just say got
an allergic one
done. That's all I'd say. And do you know what I mean? Let's just push that one aside. We go again on Monday. Let's not be too down about it. A win's a win, and I feel like sometimes we find anything we can to hammer them. But at the end of the day, a win is a win. Do you know what I mean? A win is a win. If we would have come from a goal down and won 2-1, it would have felt a bit different. It's just the way football's played. Yeah. I do think he's got to start asking a few questions of a few players. As Kurt said, definitely 8 of the 11 I can't see there. You just had to look at Thomas Holy's kit come the end of the game. Was the cleanest on there to realise what he'd done, really.
Yeah. Apart from nearly cost us a few times.
Well, yeah, I know. I thought the front 2 for Bristol Rovers were very handy, actually. I know they were coming up against Luke Chambers, but I thought they did their job. You know what I mean? That's a proper League One front 2. Them 2 powerful, strong.
Yeah, I like them.
Pace. But I think what I'd be impressed by if I was a Bristol Rovers fan is they went 2-0 down and they believed. They looked like they had the belief, and they looked like they had the hunger, and they looked like they wanted it, you know?
Absolutely.
Whereas us, it just almost like we go through the motions sometimes. And then like I'll come off here at half time, I turn around to his screen and Aaron Drennan's come on. I mean, fucking hell.
You should have seen my reaction.
He then should have been sent off as well.
Yes, he should have done, yeah.
I don't know why he brought him on and not Parrott. Maybe that's this whole sports science thing. I don't know, but
possibly. We get a few comments. We've got Pumpkin King. Ipswich didn't deserve that. No, I'm not going to argue with that. Hi, Gov, your tops. Cheers, Diggy. So are you, my man. Reece Curtis feels like a loss. It feels like a mid-table team going through emotions against Bristol Rovers who are fighting for their lives. And Joey Barton's a fighter. You know, he's a big, bolshy character. He was up and down that touchline. He's got his team fighting, and that's really what you can say about any team Joey Barton manages. They're always up for the task at hand, and I like that. You know, he's a bit like a Poundland Neil Warnock, but that's another conversation. Ollie Startup, 3 points is 3 points. But that was terrible. Looked like a whitewash until he conceded. Matt Stannard, oh nice. We'll have to get them for my wife. She loves Peri Peri. Okay, okay. Terry English, fair play to Bristol. They did everything we should have been doing. More hunger, desire, determination. Mark Bliss. Hope Cook hasn't got his eye on a holiday. He's going to be 24/7 over the next few months to sort this mess out. Yeah, so who really stood out for you today? We've got a few people waiting. I'll bring them in very shortly. But first, Curtis, who stood out for you out of the 11? Let's bring some positivity into the chat, and then we'll bring the fans in and have their say. So, Curtis, who stood out for you?
I think. I'd probably say Toto. I think he has to be in the match. I think today. I think barring one slight issue he had, where I think he let the ball bounce in front of him about 8 times, and then they dispossessed him. I think he got man of the match for me today. I thought Bishop did well. I thought he had a few driving runs. Again, he didn't really impact the game, but I think he was the one trying to push, or at least cut inside a lot more. All the strikers today up front, Norwood, Jackson, Drin and Parrott, didn't even have a chance between them. So I think it's unfair to single them out, or whether that shows how poor the service was to them. I'm not too sure, but I think Toto, for me, on his own, I think he deserves a lot of credit for what he got there.
Yeah, he single-handedly for me martyred the back through. We have got Cook's comments coming to me, and I'll relay them to us throughout this course of the show. So do stick with us if you are looking for those. Jordan, who stood out for you? Because I've got Bishop here. Apparently, Facebook user Bishop was okay today.
Oh, he was average.
He was there.
Yeah, he was there. At least he turned up. Do you know what I mean? Which is more I can say for Giselle. I think Kurt's right. Toto, head and shoulders above the rest. I know he got turned once, I think. Yeah. But overall, I think he's had for how much criticism he had, and let's be honest, we all thought he was out the door in the summer. I think he's been very, very good this season, I must admit. But other than that, it sounds awful, really, Mark, because I've come on here, but there's not that actually much to say about the game, is there? If I'm honest with you, it's just a game that kind of went by. We got the job done and we move on. I know it sounds ridiculous, really.
Yeah, no, but we've got to talk about it. We've got to talk about it. Otherwise, I've got a family barbecue to go to, and I don't want to go there. Right?
Yeah.
I don't want to go there. So if we can keep this show going for as long as possible, I could tell the wife, oh, well, it wasn't my fault. The guys just want to keep talking about football. So we won't be moving on. We'll be dragging this one out to death. I promise you. Josh Russell, how's Norwood's injury? Didn't do anything. Richard Pryor, yes, we won, but we can all see there's so much work to be done with changing this squad. If Down stays, perhaps he's the new captain, but we could be seeing a new player as captain. Stephen, Jimmy. Welcome in, my man. Love the shirt. Absolutely love the shirt. What did you make of today's scintillating Fan Dabby Dozy 2-1 win?
Delighted we got a win, and that's about as far as you can go with that. I'm not gonna knock back any wins. I'm not gonna say, oh, woe is us. At the end of the day, we got a win. That's what we went there for. Yeah, we did the business. Yeah, but they weren't good enough. We didn't deserve to win it. That's for certain. They were far. The second half, they were far the better side. They were passing it around, and we were just like hooping it forward and hoping someone got on the end of it. We keep saying week after week after week, Toto's the man of the match. He shouldn't be.
No.
Like teams where you defend us the man of the match means that you're defending a lot. Means you're not doing something right. Either a midfielder does something or your strikers score goals, then they're the man of matches. But every week we're saying Toto's man of the match, Toto's man of the match. And he is, because he's the only one who's making an effort. The rest of them are still like headless chickens.
It's been like that for a few years.
It has.
It's been like that for a few years.
I still think a lot of this is the fact that when we came down, they still think they're championship players are playing in the championship. And you're not. You're playing in a league where they'll kick you, they'll punch you, they'll push you, they'll do anything. Because the referee isn't as strict as in the Championship. And these players are just thinking, well, we've been in the Championship, we're better than you. And I think a lot of them still have that mindset. This clear out should have happened 2 years ago. Yeah. We should have got rid of all these players who were in the Championship, who everybody knew couldn't cut it. And after that first season, when we just destroyed ourselves, we should have said then, get rid. Paul Hurst tried, and the players revolted. You know, at the end of the day, something has to happen, and now has to be the time.
What do you think about that then, Curtis? Because obviously you've got to run a contracts, and you've got to have people who like Emir Hughes, for example. Nobody wants, or nobody appears to have wanted Emir Hughes. So you've got that contract to honour. You either pay him off, or you keep him within the squad. So isn't it now the natural conclusion? And this is why this is the summer coming up, because all the contracts are coming up for expiry. You know.
Well, I mean, I think everyone's well aware of how many players we've got out of contract, and it's going to be a blessing in disguise. This club, hopefully, will have a whole new outlook within it this summer. I mean, it's like follow on from Stephen's point there. It is embarrassing to say that Toto's out of the match every week. It's not embarrassing for him. The man's come back this year, defied a lot of people, and he's proven that he's actually, well, I saw in the Championship, which I thought he was very good then. Unfortunately, got injured. But we've had this issue for years. Like even going as far, because even when Joel was in charge, there's a reason why we had Stockdale on loan, who I thought was absolutely amazing during his time on loan. It was Stockdale in net who stopped us from possibly conceding double digits in games back then. And then we had Bartosz Delkowski, who got Player of the Season 3 years in a row. We have always had a horrendous back line, and unfortunately, either one way or another, we've always bailed each other out. This year, I mean, I know you mentioned it a lot. This summer coming is going to be a massive summer in terms for this football club, whether it's with or without Marcus Evans. Now, unfortunately, I don't think we are going to get the mass drop that everyone is wanting, because I don't think the club will allow that. I think they will keep some bang average players. I do think Chambers will stay on. I think Hughes will be gone. There's no point paying Hughes up now, because either way you're going to have to pay up his contract. You may as well just let it run out. It's just this. The issue is now is our recruitment in the summer, because we have not got a starting 11. We haven't got a starting 11. We've got 11 individual players. We've got 11 individual players. We've not got a team that's gelled. We've not got a team that can play with each other. We've got 11 individual players who, for a better reason, don't seem to want to grind out these results. Like George said there, always last game showed how he feels. It's this summer's going to be a very, very interesting one. I wouldn't say exciting, but I think it's going to be very interesting in terms of what the club does.
Okay.
I actually think I'd take more than one window to sort this out. I really do. Might take a good couple of windows, maybe 2 years to sort this out.
But Stephen, he said one window. So we, as fans, I'm picking up a lot of objective changing. Like we're changing the goalpost. Paul Cook saying he wants promotion. Well, for that to even happen, you need top 6. He's saying one window. We're now saying 2. Like as fans, it isn't our job to set the objectives. It's theirs. He's setting it clear as day.
What I'm saying is, to get this side to where it needs to be for the Championship will take more than one window. Yeah, but going up in this league, it won't take one. We could do that in one window. That's perfectly possible. But that depends on how many players he's prepared to get rid of. You know, I disagree. I think Chambers needs to go. We need completely 2 new fullbacks. If KBY can't be fit, we need 2 new fullbacks. We need at least a centre back, a goalkeeper. I'd be happy with Downs' Dizel midfield. You might disagree, but that's me. And we need up 3 behind the front line and a striker. We need at least 9 players.
Well, and of course you do. Yeah, because you've got 15 out of contract. But yeah, absolutely. Stephen, as always, appreciate you. Really do. Honestly, thank you so much. Right. Mark, and then Stuart, and then George, and then Lee. Few comments first. Jordan, Ashley Bell says a lot of people be on Twitter having a go at Drinnan. At least he got stuck in and looked up for it. Maybe too much sometimes. He did more than Jackson and Norwood did. What's your response back to that, Jordan?
I ain't got no response back to that. I don't think I need to respond to that. It's just, you know what I mean.
I
Aaron
think you've got a
Drennan's
point.
nowhere near Ipswich Town level. We all know it. We're not stupid.
I think he's got a point.
I'll tell you what then, as he worked hard, we'll get Luke Varney back, shall we? Just for 6 months. He's a good lad to have around the place as well.
I mean, well, yeah. I mean, but in Drennan's defence...
Come on, Martin. No. I'm not having anyone tell me. Go on, man. Go on.
In
Sorry.
Drennan's... No, you're fine. You can. I mean, I'm often criticising the guy. It's on record I don't like him. I can't stand him. But he does work hard, and you can never question his effort. I just question... It's not his fault he's coming on. It's Marcus Evans' fault, and that's another reason why Marcus needs to piss off as soon as possible, because Drennan should be in an Ipswich Town squad. But yeah, you're right. Working hard is the first thing we should expect. Mark, Drennan, how are you doing?
Honestly, I thought he'd be grand in League One. You know, I think we all did. It doesn't look like he's going to make it here. I think he probably will kick on maybe at another League One, League Two clubs, but unfortunately, Aaron Drennan isn't the only name we can say needs leaving. No. We definitely, after watching the game today, from the very start, I couldn't understand why we seemed to be all right up forward, but in sort of defence, we had our two weakest sort of golden oldies on one side, and then we'd two, Mr. Mistakes on the other side, and then we've no midfield enforcer. I watched Andre Dazelle today, and I think when I seen Teddy Bishop having a shot, I said, right, that's it. I said, let's keep Teddy and get rid of Andre, because
I saw that.
I mean, for me, Andre, he's 70 games in. He is the senior player, and yet I doubt if anybody on this panel would even suggest for a second they would think that Andre Dazelle is going to now get the team by the balls and bring them on, and let's see what Andre does next. For me, he's like the fella who's great at heads and volleys in the local park but can't pass the ball to anybody. He's clearly gifted. He's clearly fantastic, but he's just not a good fit for our side for whatever reason.
Absolutely. Yeah. The thing is, he's got a contract, so he's only one of the players you would think next year. Do you think Paul Cook will actually look to maybe phase him out, use him as a rotational player off the bench, or do you, like many people, and Leandro will be on shortly, I think he believes this, do you build a team around him, Mark? Do you build the team around Andre Dazelle?
I wouldn't say I'd build a team around him, but if they brought in... I'll be laughing at this probably. If they brought in a younger Cole Stews type player to hold it and let him be the fella who goes forward and does the swing, because he has it in his armour to pass the ball and stuff like that, but he's passing it sideways. He can't tackle to save his life, and we need someone who it really frustrates me that our midfielders don't even have a shot. Not a shot.
True. Yeah.
In 90 minutes.
No, it's true. Alan Judge is another player who you would have felt, Mark, making the step up in this division.
100%. For me, Alan Judge is the only one in the midfield who's able to make a bloody tackle. And that's,
Yeah. As he gets older, George, would you be open to seeing Judge play more centrally next to a younger player such as Dazelle, or no for you?
Yeah, do you know what? I've always been a Judge fan. At the start of this season, he was absolute rubbish. There's no two ways about that. He was terrible. To be fair, last season he weren't much caught. But recent weeks you've seen that hunger come back a little bit. You've seen the old Alan Judge, like the one. When we went down, you saw that Alan Judge. You wanted to prove a point. You wanted to make himself known. Is it something to do with being pushed out the Ireland squad? I reckon so. I'd be up for keeping Alan Judge for another year. I think his best position's in a 10 role. But then again, I think Andre Dazelle, I don't know why we play him so deep. I don't think he's any good there. I think we need to move him forward. And I just think I'd love to see us sign a right shithouse. Do you know what I mean? In the midfield, a man he's probably not the best at football, if I'm honest with you, but will absolutely give you everything every week. Like a Lee Cattermole, a Roy Keane. Do you know what I mean? Someone who
We don't want him.
Oh no! Just like if we're in like the 90th
In
minute,
midfield, yeah.
fucking absolutely nails someone and puts them in the crowd. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
Someone's going to bleed for the shirt. Luke Hyam, like someone.
Yeah.
I know he weren't the best, and probably someone a bit better than him. But Luke Hyam is
I
a
love
prime
Luke Hyam.
example of who I'm talking about. He gave
And has-
everything for the shirt, didn't he?
Has someone in Cook's recent teams played like that? Like, is he going to go back to Wigan or down to Portsmouth and grab someone in, do you reckon?
Yeah.
Well, he might well do. I think it was needed today, really, Mark, don't you? Because after they scored, they had their period, and we never really recovered from that period. Where normally you'd like your hard bastard maybe to put the foot on the ball, put the foot on an ankle, slow the storm, slow their momentum down, and just get yourself back on it. We never did it, and then the more we allowed them to grow, the more confidence they grew, and we couldn't. We never ever, in my opinion, recovered it.
I'll tell you exactly what we showed today. We showed in the first half of the first half what we can do, and then we also showed what we can do. You know, we showed our both sides quick and easy in the first half, and once again, I don't know. You know, a win's a win. We had to win, and we won. Roll on Monday.
Absolutely. Who was your man of the match? Before I bring somebody else in, who was your man of the match?
I thought it's a tot-up between Toto and Judge. You know, now I always like Judge, obviously, for obvious reasons. We speak the same language, etc. Actually, you mentioned that about Alan Judge and the Ireland setup. I think when we got relegated, he was promised by Mick McCarthy that he'd keep his spot in the Irish setup if he went down with Ipswich. So that's why he stayed. And obviously, he's just not having a great season. So that's why he probably wasn't. He was kicked out recently. But yeah.
Mark, as always, love you, buddy.
Thanks a million, lads. Good luck. Happy Easter. Enjoy the weekend.
When's those barbers open across the seas?
We don't open until May.
Well, by that point, I hope
we've
had
a while to
trim.
go. That's hence, the COVID beard and the morning head shave this morning. So I'm in.
Love it. Love you. Look after yourself.
Thanks a million.
Isn't it something though when Toto is probably most improved player and player of the year? I'm going to say it.
Oh yeah, it's like George said at half time. I think we can all agree that Toto was definitely on his way out. Like last summer, he was on his way out. We all thought the same. My mate was a Bolton fan, and he told me he wasn't pulling up any trees there. So I thought he was first on list to leave, and he's kind of defied expectations. But honestly, I need people to stop talking about Dizelle, building a team around Dizelle. We really need to stop. Like you build a team around, and like your player who's the engine of the team. You don't build your team around someone who relaxes on the ball and gives away a ball like they did today. You need someone who, like George said, you need a man. You need a man in the team who's going to grab people by the neck and can push them on. And Dizelle's not going to do that. He's not going to do that. We need to stop this whole build a team around him. He's not good enough to build a team around. Not good enough.
I'm going to bring in the Lord of the Passion Run. It is Stuart. Stuart, my man, rocking the merch, loving it. How you doing, buddy?
As always, not doing too bad. How's we all?
I want to. We won. We're still in touch with the playoffs. Three, I'm going to call it 3 points because I'm looking at Portsmouth, who have played the exact same number of games as us. We're 3 points behind them. That's who I'm. Yeah. That's who I'm eyeballing. Andy Gray makes a comment here. I want you to answer me, Stuart. Luke Chambers, swearing on live TV, passionate fist pumping, captain and leader of the weakest squad in our history. The exact reason he needs to go. Luke Chambers, what's your thoughts on him?
Well, it's all good, like having the captain, but he's just not showing up as the leader. You know, he's getting outplayed, he's getting outdone in his position. Like today, he got outdone again. He's falling asleep at the vital moments of when he needs to defend, and it's just.
He's done that for a couple of years now, though. But letting the ball drop is unforgivable. We had two up front today, Stuart. Jackson and Norwood. Fans have been calling for it. I've been calling for it. I think it's too early, personally, to maybe judge and say, "Oh, it didn't work. Go back." But what were your thoughts on those two up top today?
Well, Jackson, I didn't see him at all today. I did not see him at all.
Okay.
I didn't think I didn't even know he was even playing, to be honest. Norwood did all right, and then until he got taken off at half time. But it was nice. It was nice to see them. It was nice to see them two back playing again.
Yeah, absolutely. Kurt, you've called for it. What were your thoughts on it? Because I've seen a few people, Matt Phillips, saying, "Oh, rubbish, didn't work." What are you thinking? Because the first goal came from the fact we got bodies in the box.
It's like I said earlier on. I think the two up front did work. I think more bodies in the box, it causes confusion for the opposition. I think it does work. But that's like as I said at half time, I think we did what classic Ipswich do. I think we then after we conceded, I think half our team shit themselves, and I think they started that doubt started to creep back in whether they could actually hold on to a 2-0 lead. Let's face it, there's not many times when we've been even in the terraces where Ipswich go 2-0 up, and then when someone scores to make it 2-1. I mean, there's a lot of times where fans are hiding behind the hands because they know that the second goal's coming. So it's these players. I don't know what's wrong with them, but if they concede a goal, they shit a brick, and it's two up front is the way to go. It definitely is. But these players, they've shown they can't hack it for 90 minutes. They can't hold it for 90 minutes. Like McMill said at half time, he didn't know what formation we were playing in that second half. Wolfenden, he confused me because he started playing on the right side of the centre half, but then he went to right back, and then I think Ward crossed it at one point. I thought you two were supposed to be on opposite flanks. Like I don't think any of these knew what they were doing. It's a two up front does work. It does work, believe me. They proved it with an early start, but whether they can carry it on for 90 minutes, just
okay. Stuart. Danny Allen, forgot we had a game today. So, in your words, tell him how we played today.
Awful. Lucky. It was just luck that we won today. It was just luck.
But you make your own luck, don't you, Jordan?
I don't know. I just thought it's how bad Bristol Rovers were, really. I know it's...
sorry for the fans, yeah.
Yeah, I thought that they huffed and puffed, and like I said, they gave a lot of effort and stuff like that. And you do make luck, but that I think there was once in the second half where the lads got round Chambers. Well, it's not once, but you know what I mean. He's got in on goal, and a decent striker nails that through the keeper's legs or in the bottom corner. He's absolutely skewed it wide, and I think it's gone for like a throw-in or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't say we were absolutely awful. We weren't great. I wouldn't even say we were average, but I wouldn't say we were awful. That's just a personal opinion.
Okay, I'll bring George in. George, same question. Danny Allen, totally forgot we had a game today due to working. How did we play? Tell Danny how we played today, George.
Shit.
Fucking hell. We've just won 2-1, guys. We've got 3 points. I'm going to be hammered in a minute in the chat for saying, you're all too negative. Really, George? Shit, you felt.
Well, it's amazing what you do when you can put players in the box and you can put the ball in the back of the net. Suppose we have to look at that again.
We do. Andy Gray says he doesn't know about anybody else, but he's completely behind Cook. If he fails with this record, Evans has absolutely nowhere to hide. Evans won't be here. But George, how was the game from your perspective today? Who played well? Who didn't play well?
I thought Toto Enciala played okay, but it shows you how bad we are when we're saying the man of the match is a defender.
Yeah.
Just to intervene there, right? Bartosz Białkowski got Player of the Year for 3 years running.
3 years.
But yet everyone says how good of a job Mick McCarthy did.
It's true. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, we had a poor defence as well.
I'm just saying in general, like people are saying, well, how bad we are now because Toto Enciala is our best player, but everyone's saying how good of a job Mick did with Bart as Player of the Season.
It's a great point.
3 years running. I know I'm not. That's not me pigging on it. I'm just saying that's like it's weird how like the point of view changes, doesn't it?
Stuart, where do we go from here? Before I bring somebody else in, where do you want this to go? Where do we go from here? Is it a platform, or are you just thinking, you know what, this is giving us false hope, and it's going nowhere, and it's going to kill us?
I'm sort of leaning towards this false hope, but if we can continue this, then who knows?
Well,
But-
yeah, no, it's true. It's insightful. I like it. It's just it's very to the point. I love you, Stu. You're brilliant. You're brilliant. If it continues, who knows? I mean, that's just brilliant, Stuart. So, I've gone. That's just with me, Stuart. As always, appreciate you, buddy. Keep rocking
care,
that
guys.
merch, George. Where does it go for you? Where does this go? Is this full soap? Is this a full storm?
Well, I think if we can get something at Rochdale, surely that's a must win there because they're bottom of the league. But you know what happens when we go to bottom teams?
Yeah, well, Bristol Rovers hadn't won in 5. Changed managers more times than we've probably had at dinners this year, or certainly seen friends this year. We wasn't expected, Jordan, to have it as hard as we did today.
Not when you were 2-0 up. Bloody hell. We were 2-0 up. I thought they were going to crumble, but then us being us, gave it to them on a plate, talking about dinners. And we're fucking... I tell you, it's just Ipswich Town, innit? I said at half time, can you just bang your head against the wall? Is it all right to? And that's exactly what it's like watching Ipswich Town. No matter what level we're at, no matter who we play, you can guarantee that we'll give teams a sniff. Last week, Peterborough went 2-0 up in around about the same sort of time as us. And they absolutely slaughtered Accrington.
Yeah.
Slaughtered them. And I'm not saying that we're as good as Peterborough going forward because it's clear as
Because
we're not. Do you know what I mean? But it'd have just been nice. Do you know what? Even if we would have just seen out the 2-0 and just used a bit of game management to see it go by. But we didn't. And we put ourselves in this situation. If we would have dropped points today, there'd be no one to blame but the players. I'm telling you now.
George, are the players realistic? Ask a Facebook user.
I think we could do it, but we need to improve our performances. Today was absolutely crap. I know that we won, but you've got to improve on them performances if we realistically want to get into the playoffs.
We have, but I'll bring Lee in. Lee, surely you've got to start from somewhere, right? You've got every run, however good or small, start somewhere. And today we got lucky, in my opinion, and luck can play a huge part in it.
Absolutely. I mean, luck. What is luck? I mean, you know, for me personally, I think we started really well, as people have said. We scored the 2 goals, but then we take our foot off the gas, don't we? You know, and then we sit back, and then as soon as we have one sign of adversity, we then crumble. And that's the bit for me. That's the bit where people say we've played crap. For me, it's controlling the game. I think as Hox just said about, you know, at 2-0, game management, see the game out. You know, and that's the bit for me. That's the worrying side for me, is that we can't go on a game. You know, we got 2 early goals. And I'm sitting there thinking, yeah, I've been calling for 3-5-2 all season. We've got it. We're looking like $1 million. Yes, we are playing near the bottom of the league, but we're just looking great. And then, you know, one mistake from Dizelle, you know, we can see the goal. And then all of a sudden, we're just hanging on for another 70 minutes or whatever it was. And that's the most frustrating thing for me, because we've got technical footballers. I think I've said before, if we put the foot on the ball, play the ball, if we've got the ball, the opposition haven't got it. So you know, when we're 2-0 up,
great point.
We should be taking the sting out of the game. It doesn't matter how the opposition plays. It doesn't matter if they've got bullies in midfield, 5 strikers up front that they're knocking the ball onto. If we keep the ball and have the ball, then they're not going to get it, are they? And that's, you know, that.
But you're not going to keep a ball with Andre Dizelle in midfield. He doesn't keep the ball well enough. He doesn't. Use a modern.
I don't care what
best
anyone
player,
says. You can all
Lee,
kill me. He's our best player.
Lee, according to SofaScore, now I don't know how SofaScore come up with their scores, but according to SofaScore, he got 6.3 out today. He was rated the worst player on the field, exception of Luke Wolfenden. Now, again, I don't know how they rate their players, but he was at fault for their goal. He did give them the ball. He did lose the ball consistently. What are you building around? When you say that, when you sit there and you say, I'm going to build around Andre Dizelle, that's fine. That's the point. That's your opinion. You're welcome to it. But what are you seeing that we're not seeing?
Well, if you watch before he made the mistake, he was running the game. Everything went through Dizelle. And he's still young. You've got to remember he's still young. And yes, he's not had the great game today. And when he made that mistake today, because I'm sitting there making notes and I'm thinking, yeah, I can come on the show later and I'll be bigging up Dizelle, saying how great he is, because everyone thinks he's shit. Then all of a sudden he makes a rip and I'm thinking, shit, I need another beer. So, you know, so that happens. Okay. And you know, but he's trying to play the right way, and I think Mills picked up on a point that, you know, he got a bit complacent, or, you know, there was no midfielders around him. But I don't buy that because it was a bad touch. But you could say the same about Stones for England midweek.
Oh, for
similar sort of mistake. Similar sort of mistake.
Exception is, Lee, John Stones has got a whole season of top play behind him. Andre Dazelle hasn't.
You have to watch Dazelle and really, I think you have to watch him as a footballer and see the passes that he makes that I don't believe there's anybody else in our team can make. And he makes them. He keeps the play going. He doesn't get it right all the time. He's a marked man, isn't he? When you go back to the start of the season, he was running games. And then as soon as he got found out, they're putting players on him. And it's hard. Yes, he was. When we were winning early on in the season, everything was going through Dazelle, wasn't it? He didn't necessarily get all the assists, but he's the deep midfielder, isn't he? So he's the one that's sitting there recycling the ball, taking it off the back three, trying to get the ball forward. If all his incisive passes that he's got, you know, he's not going to get it right every time because he's trying to thread the ball through the eye of a needle a lot of the time, isn't he? And if you haven't got forward runners for him to pass to, he's not going to make it. But you know, I mean, you could argue that he got an assist for the second goal today with a shot.
You could argue anything. Really?
I mean, I accept that. But really, I think moving forward, Dazelle, you know, he's our best technical player.
Do you think he should be moved further forward, Lee?
Yeah, I think he can play. Yeah, I mean, he can play further forward, can't he? Where he can, you know, impact on the game a bit and spread the ball through. But I think the problem is, I think he's a victim maybe of his own quality. And what I mean by that is because there's nobody else at the moment. Remember, you got Nolan out. Skews is now past it, I suppose, and injured again. So you've got no one extra to play that. Who else would you have to play that hold a midfielder role? There's nobody else, is there?
He's a victim of his own quality.
Yeah, because
I'm okay. Lee, how strong is that beer you're drinking during the game, Lee? You want to put one less beer?
No, what I mean by that is that because he can play there because nobody else can. So he's like a utility player. So he's filling in a role that's probably not his best role, but unfortunately he's the best player at that. And I'm not, and I'll say this, but please don't shoot me down in flames. But
we will.
You will. But when you look back to when England played and you look back at Steven Gerrard, I'm not comparing the two as players, but Steven Gerrard for England was stuck out on the right-hand side of midfield after Beckham because nobody else could play that role. And he was crap out there, but he was just doing a job because nobody else could do that job.
Yeah.
And I think that's the same for Dazelle. Until we get somebody that can sit in there, is a bit more of an enforcer, but what he wants to do, you want your enforcer who sits in Dazelle's role to get the ball, then give it forward to maybe Dazelle who's playing further forward. But we don't get that because we've got no one else to play that. So Dazelle has to play there.
I do. Yeah, okay. I do agree with him there, George. I do think if we get an enforcer in Andre's role, then Andre can do what Skews was doing today. That would be a great lineup next year.
Yeah, I think the only thing I would say about Andre Dazelle is that I've got a lot of mates from other clubs and they really like him. They love Andre Dazelle because he's a risk taker with his passes. I see what Lee's saying to an extent. Do I think he's as good as what people think he is? No, I don't believe so. That's just a personal opinion. I feel like he loses the ball a lot because he's a risk taker. Like 4 out of his 10 passes will be risk passes, like a through ball over the top or something like that. And I respect Lee when he says he does passes that no other player can do. I agree with that. But does he do it enough? Nowhere near enough. And like today, that's just like he's gone at half time today and he should have been murdered for that goal. They should have been right on him for that goal. And it just felt like second half. If he had any bollocks about him, he'd have come out second half. He'd have been looking for the ball. He'd have been wanting the ball. He'd have been moving the ball. But it just felt like Andre Dazelle just sees the game through because he knows he can see the game through. Like at Wigan, he saw the game through because he probably knew he'd be starting again today. And I hope he don't start. Me personally, I hope he don't start Rochdale. Not because I don't think he's an all right player, but because I think he needs a bit of a kick up the arse sometimes. And he's one of them players.
Do you not think that's in his body language, though? Do you not think that's his body language that he's quite relaxed and stuff like that? And again, I'm quoting England players, and I don't mean to, and I'm not comparing them, but only in the way that they, you know, Chris Waddle was always, for those who are old enough to remember Chris Waddle, he always looked like he was always disinterested. but he never was because he had the slunch for the shoulders and stuff. But I do agree, he does get caught on the ball a little bit. He needs to be a bit sharper, doesn't he, with his turns and his layoffs. But he's got to have someone to lay that ball off to, and that's the disappointing thing to me. But I don't think he went missing. I just think we talk about NCR being man of the match and the back and that, but there were times when we wanted to put our foot on the ball. We had acres of space in the midfield, but instead of playing it through the midfield, we kept hoofing it up long to Jackson.
For me,
and that's where we've got to have the game management right, and that's down to Cook to tell to get players to play the right way.
George, go on.
Yeah, he reminds me. It's very much a Mesut Ozil situation. I know I don't want to put him in the bracket, but it's the
Gerrard, Scholes, Ozil. Fuck me, Freddie Lundberg next.
His body language was minging. He worked like he didn't fancy it. Is Andre Dizelle a player that we need, Ipswich Town need at the moment? And I'm not sure he is.
No.
I'm not because of his quality or not because of who he is or anything like that. Arsenal needed men, so they shipped out Mesut Ozil. Do you know what I mean? Because he's a bit of a luxury player as such.
Yeah.
I feel like Andre Dizelle's the same sort of thing.
Completely agree with you, and I think Curtis would as well. Curtis, I've seen Downs mentioned as the enforcer of our squad. Would you go along with that? Is Downs the enforcer?
No, not really. I mean, he's susceptible to a few yellow cards and red cards recently, but I wouldn't say he's one to jump in and rough someone up. And I don't think any of our midfielders, any of our midfielders are one to rough anyone up. I think if anything, that's possibly an area that we should look at in the summer because depending on if Palace actually fancy coming back for Downs, I think he will be one to. He might actually go this summer, but I don't think we don't have an engine room in midfield. We don't have anyone who can push forward about one stage at a time. They are all of our players for how many midfielders we have at this club. They are all the same, if not worse. They are all that. None of them have different qualities apart from Dizelle, and it's one of them. We can say about Dizelle, and he has that like moment where he can flip a switch and do a cutthroat pass. You're not getting paid thousands a week for 1 minute or 30 seconds where you can do that pass. Yeah. I want to see consistency, especially from Dizelle. He's had enough games this season now to be consistent and to have consistent form. But he's not. And whilst he might have this close to it, again, like George said, I've got friends who say that they see something good in Dizelle. But we all watch him week in, week out. And whilst he might make these like really beautiful passes sometimes, 89 minutes of the game, he's drifting by like the other 10 of his team. I mean, let's face it. Would you be on your knees begging Everton to not sell him? Would you be saying?
No, I'd be saying sell him, fund him, fund our squad.
Would you be on your knees saying no? This is the youngster that us as Ipswich Town need to keep because he is who we want. Let's face it. You wouldn't. If someone came in and said, "Well, for God's sake, I'll give you a couple mil, give you 2.5." If we could even get that, if someone gave you a decent amount of money, you'd go, "Yeah, fair dues." You'd bin him off because you don't. He's not someone you beg to be in your team. But we've not got any.
So what would you say you'd want your holding midfielder to do? Because this is where I get a bit confused because he does what you'd want a holding midfielder to do apart from his tackle support. He recycles the ball. Generally, he keeps it. He doesn't just always make sideways passes. He'll try to make that pass, that $1 million pass doesn't always come off. But what would you want from somebody playing in his position?
Can I answer that?
Yeah, absolutely, mate. You're in charge.
Today, you had a Chelsea youngster on loan at Rovers, and you had Andre Dizelle on the same field. I would take McCormack every day on twice on Sunday, or twice on a Saturday in this case, over Andre Dizelle because he showed why he will play at a higher level eventually in his career. I'm yet to ever see Andre take over any game and stamp with authority. Now, people say Andre can play at a high level. I really hope the scouts and the coaches and the management teams of higher teams agree. Because I would say to Marcus, if he was still our owner, which I'm hoping he won't be, sell Andre, keep Downs, keep Wolfie, build your team around other players. Because Andre, for me, isn't what you need in League One. As Carl Brooks rightly put, you need more than one trick in League One. You need this, you need that, you need a bit of this and a bit of that. Andre hasn't got a bit of anything at the moment. He might have one day, but for now, he's not what this club needs.
Go back to Hurst. Go back to Hurst.
Yeah.
Hurst, we all say, oh well, Andre he might be able to cut it in the league. Hurst didn't think he would have the championship.
Yeah.
And whilst Hurst made many mistakes, I mean, Gisele's hardly grabbed one by the scruff of the neck, has he? If this is a player that play.
Scored a great goal against Leeds, if I remember, playing on the right hand side of the midfield three. Giselle, did he not?
Yeah. That is fantastic, but let's just remember we were relegated at that.
Well, yeah, well, absolutely. But you're talking about what you want from a midfielder. I mean, he needs to play a bit more of an advanced role, doesn't he? Really?
But does he? Because every manager so far has played him in a deep role. Mix played him in the deep role against Birmingham. He got injured, sadly. And then every manager since has played him in that deep role. Only fans have said he needs to play further forward. Now, I'm going to move. I've got Colin coming on, so I'm going to move it on very quickly. George, Alan Judge was rated our best player by SofaScore. 8.5 they gave him today. Do you agree with that? So am I.
What about keeping him?
No, he got an 8.5. So they rated him our best player today. Our best player. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I thought when he plays in the number 10 role, it actually suits that just behind the strikers. I'd like to see him play more there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but looking further afield, would you keep him?
I think we need someone younger in there now, to be honest. I know he's a good player. Maybe have him on the bench for next season.
Okay. George, Lee, appreciate both of you. Look after yourselves. Thank you so much. Colin, welcome in.
Martin, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Pleased to see you. Welcome on. First time caller in, I suppose. What did you make of today's 2-1, 3 points?
Yeah. What I would like to say today is, obviously, I didn't watch the game. I listened to it on Radio Suffolk.
Okay.
But according to Millsy today, we was very, very poor. But I just like to say, the 3 points was the main thing today for me, and going into Monday, with still a half a chance, so I think, maybe that's the main thing today. I mean, the performance was pretty poor, but that's how I see it from now.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I wrote in my Suffolk News article this morning, we need hope, and you need hope by beating the first team on your list, and that was Bristol Rovers. We've done that. Rochdale's next. It's another must-win, isn't it? It's another completely must-win.
Well, I said this morning that there was no way in the world that we could come out of this weekend with less than 6 points and still have half a chance. I mean, our biggest problem for me is not the fact, well, probably is the fact that we're not a very good side, but also I think our major problem is Blackpool, personally. They just don't seem to want to get beat at the moment. I mean, they've gone 12 unbeaten at the moment, and they seem to be our biggest problem, I think, in this run-in. Although we have a very good run-in and probably a lot better than Blackpool's, but from a supporter's point of view, from a long period of time, nobody wants us to get to draw games or lose games, but we just need to stabilise and get in those playoffs, and then we all know it's a lottery. We get in the playoffs. I know we're not playing very well, but let's try and grasp it. Get into those playoffs, like Cookie keeps going on about, and go into the lottery, which is the playoffs, and and give it our best shot, because, you know, a lot of people keep saying, you know, is it worth us going in the Championship? Of course it's worth us going to the Championship.
Absolutely.
That's where we should be, Martin.
Yeah. No, and I don't think anyone here would disagree. Curtis, what do you agree with that?
No, I mean, I agree. I mean, as I said at the start, I think what today's game proved to me, I don't think it's about formation anymore. I think it's about grinding out, or at least trying to grind out as many wins as you can within this next 10 games. I don't think. I think if I was a player, I'd be embarrassed that Cook's at Cook, who is a man who is so staunch on wanting to play 4-2-3-1. He's basically come out with that team selection today and said, "You guys ain't good enough to play what I want. So you know what? He basically played it like a Sunday League game. Because Sunday League, you don't have any formations. You just basically play where you need to play, and you are where you are. And I think today he's basically told them, just do what you can. Just do. I think that is his game plan. He said, do what you can, because I've tried. I've tried. And I think in realistic terms, I think he might have actually given up on these players now, because he knows that there's 10 games left. And I think he's just saying, do what you need to do to get these wins, lads, because like a lot of you ain't going to be here next year. And I do think, like, get us in the Championship. I think it would be a difficult year next year if we were to go up this year, but we'd all have a promotion. Like, I don't think anyone on here would ever say they want to stay down. We all need something good to happen out of this horrendous year in general, and it would give us all a boost going into next season. Whether this squad can actually do that based on the performance against Bristol, near enough bottom of the league, Bristol Rovers, don't know. I'm not too sure. I've
got a few comments. I'm going to Cook's made to the press. I'm going to bring you all in at some point. I'll kick things off with you, Jordan. He says, workmanlike, honest character. We've asked tough questions of the players. Been a bit too heavy for some, but we keep nicking results. What do you reply back to that with?
Right. To be fair, he's honest, isn't he? When he comes out, he doesn't give us the whole PR bullshit like Lambert did, that we play really well and stuff like that. And when he said a couple of weeks ago about the training that they just weren't up for it, sort of thing, the fitness levels weren't as good as we thought they were going to be and stuff like that. Do you know, I quite respect the bloke, whether he turns out to be a mastermind appointment and gets us back to the big time. You never know at this point, but at least you respect him for being honest. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Completely agree.
Could I come in there, Martin?
Of course you can.
I totally agree with George, what he said just then about Paul Cook. I really honestly think, and I hope and pray that I'm right here. I think for once, Evans, sorry, Mr. Evans, I think he has actually appointed a very good manager for a change, although his name is Paul. But no, I honestly think if that person is given the tools, and that obviously means money in this day and age, I think if he's given the tools to deal with, I honestly think, I agree with George. I agree with George. I honestly think he could potentially get us back where we really do belong. And I know there's Norwich fans and East Anglian fans laughing their proverbials off at us over this last 2 or 3 years. But I'll tell you what, I honestly think, I think there was a comment earlier on about, I can't remember who it was there. Somebody in the chat was saying about Cook has, he obviously knows a lot more than we do. And, of course, and obviously that's, yeah. But I personally think, and I personally hope Evans goes, but is there a possibility, and I'm throwing this out there, is there a possibility that Cook has been told that even if he does stay, he'll spend money?
Cool.
I don't know the answer to that.
No, nobody does. No. But I tell you the answer to what he has said. Curtis, this would be music to your ears, Curtis. Majority of our games on a knife edge. We can show character, but need to be more solid to see games out. We don't have the personnel to play my style. This is Paul Cook saying this. So that's a challenge for me going forward. What do you want to say about that, Chris?
Yeah, he's coming. It's like George said. I'm glad he's not one of these. He's not one of these PR guys who's just going to keep feeding us tripe. He's coming out and telling us the truth that we can all see. We've all seen it all season. This team cannot play his formation, and luckily, Cook now knows after a few games he's played it that they can't. I mean, he obviously had to try it with him to see it for himself, but he can see it now. And now we know that we're on the same wavelength as the manager. In regards to Cook being the man who's going to take us back to where we belong, but believe me, as a fan who's 23 years old and only ever seen stagnation in the Championship and a failed playoff run and a relegation, trust me, I would love nothing more than to see some kind of success within our club. But this does remind me a lot like Mick McCarthy, because at the time there was a big good feeling about McCarthy coming in and possibly with his resume being the one to take us back up. The manager is only as good as the owner will allow him to be. Now, Cook has a very good resume.
He does.
But so did McCarthy. And we only ever got a failed playoff run that we scabbed in at Blackburn on the last day of the season. That's as far as McCarthy got with the resources that he had. Now, I would argue we are in a much worse position even behind the scenes now, and Cook's got to deal with that. Can he work the wonders that he did at Portsmouth, at Wigan? Here, I would argue that this is probably going to be his toughest job of his career. It's the toughest job of any manager's career. I don't believe that the Cowleys would have had any better luck if they were to come in, because this job is one of the hardest jobs, I think, in English football, because we don't expect a lot of fans. We don't expect the world. We just expect a half-decent team with a half-decent owner and a decent manager. We don't expect European football. We just want to see our team succeed a bit, but we haven't. So I really do hope Cook is the one, as I've hoped Hurst has, as I hoped Lambert did. I hope every single one of our managers is the one to give us the good times back. But the owner dictates whether they will be able to. The owner will dictate.
Spot on, Curtis. Really spot on. I couldn't agree more with you, actually. Colin, because I've got Lloyd coming in just a second, I want to ask you this point, really, because I feel it carries on to what you were saying beforehand. He claims, Paul Cook, I needed that win. It's a big and tough job, and our fans want to see the right changes. Are you seeing the right changes, Colin? You've seen it all. You've seen European football. You've seen the good times. You've seen the bad times. Are you seeing the right changes that you need to see?
The right changes in which way, Martin? Sorry.
Building blocks for next year. Whatever league we may find ourselves in, and we always hope we're in the Championship, whatever league, are you seeing building blocks put in place?
I have as... I absolutely love this football club. I've loved them ever since 7 years of age. I have to answer that question as honestly as I can. Probably not. But my heart says playoffs. Let's hope for 2 or 3 really good games and get in that Championship, and let's start building from there. But can I just answer Curtis just very quickly?
Of course.
I really, really, really feel sorry for your generation, Curtis, and that's hand on heart. My 2 boys are 37 and 34, both big town fans. My older son, very opinionated like I am, but at least they're still a playoff win, blah, 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 and us playing in the Premier League. Myself, like Martin says, I've basically seen it all. I've seen us rip Norwich apart in the Texaco Cup final, and from there onwards win just about nearly everything, including the First Division Championship, which unfortunately, although I was 7, I didn't see myself, but I was alive then. But I saw the FA Cup, UEFA Cup. I've been over to Amsterdam. I've been to Milan. I've been everywhere. But
Rotterdam.
I've been very fortunate in my life. But I feel so desperately sorry for the young people, and I want your generation to see this club great again.
Yeah,
honestly.
Absolutely. Colin, hopefully you'll call in again. Absolutely love your opinions. Good man.
Oh, and Martin, just lastly, Thank you very much. I mean that from my heart. Thank you.
You're more than welcome. Anytime. Lloyd, your turn. The Andre Dazelle sword and shield. Here he is.
Yeah, I rate Dazelle. I don't want to go over the conversation too often because I think we talk a lot about Dazelle, but I think there's a player there. I think when Ipswich have been good, they've all been good, haven't they? You know, take the first 10 games of the season, same as the first year. There's a lot of good performances. Bishop, Edwards have all been good, and when they've all been crap, they've all been crap. And you know, I think I thought Dazelle had a really good 20 minutes today. I was counting his passes because my oldest brother Lewis, that comes on here sometimes, he hates Dazelle, so we all often talk amongst ourselves. But the first 15 minutes,
no one said hey.
No, but disagree with his ability, let's say. But the first 15 minutes, I counted 6 forward passes, 3 sideways passes, and he looked all right, made the mistake, the one thing that we learned today is that he didn't recover from it. And that's where your test of character comes in. I think on the 40th minute, he gave the ball away. In the second half, there was an opportunity to give the ball away. You know, Lee is very strong on the Dazelle situation. I'm not quite as strong, but I am there or thereabouts. I think there's a player in Dazelle. We're definitely not building a team around Dazelle. I think we look best in the midfield when we have Downs, in my opinion. And I think we look best going forward when Norwood is there. And without them 2 players in them positions, we don't look as strong. But we're really, I mean, we're 9 games left. 9 games left, and we're still yet to see a full strength Ipswich team, which has been a theme for a while. We've still yet to see Kay Minton Young, Downs, Norwood. We still yet to see a full strength Ipswich team and see what we're potential of. And that's been a theme for so many years, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it has. Yeah, and Paul Cook said himself, Norwood's got a thigh. He could have carried on, but best to save him for a rainy day. Never seen a club with so many injuries. And Jordan, that's just true, right? We are literally the walking wounded FC. We're casualty FC.
No, that's one big sick note, isn't it? Let's be honest, every week someone go injured, or someone's got a knock, or someone broke their toe or broke their toenail or something like that. Do you know what I mean? It's weird when you hear full strength team, because I can't remember the last time I even heard it, if ever, if I'm honest with you.
No, it is a mythical unicorn. Curtis, he says towards the end of his press conference, and I'll ask you, Lloyd, as well, this question. We have the capabilities to get the points needed. Table looks better and we'll keep fighting. 9 games left. Arguably, you need 6 more wins. Rochdale first. Now, obviously, you can't never look ahead of 1 game at a time. But can you see this club getting 6 wins out of 9?
I think the home games you've got, I can see. I think there's 3 home games left. I'm quite confident we'll definitely win 2 out of the 3, and it may be 3 out of 3. Every Saturday, just every Saturday or Friday, listen to it. So I get so excited for this game. I get so built up, and it just never materialises into what I want every time. I mean, today the first 20 minutes I was absolutely buzzing, stood on my lounge, jumping up and down, and literally like I was in the terrace. Like God's on the street. I'm like a 10-year-old kid jumping up and down in the terraces when we score, screaming. Then I get to the 30th minute and I'm texting my brother constantly, and I'm bored of this shit, and it's so boring. Do I think Ipswich will get 6th or in the playoffs? If I had to put my savings on it, I'd go with no. And the only thing that makes you think if we get the playoffs that we could do well is if Blackpool got 3rd. If Blackpool got 3rd, I'd fancy your chances, because they've been our best 2 performances this year. I fancy ourselves against Blackpool, but that's about it. So there's a big rebuilding that needs to go on in the summer, and I think we'll judge Paul Cook when it comes to August and that sort of time. But answer your question, no.
Curtis, same question, but I'll put a little meat on the bone. We've got Rochdale obviously on Monday, then MK Dons, Wimbledon, and then if you win those 3, that could set up a really tasty away trip to Charlton, couldn't it?
It does. Like I said at the start of the game, I'm hopeful rather than excited as to the next few weeks are going to bring. Do I think we can get 6 wins out of 9? We can. We can. If we start to grind our results, a la when McCarthy came in and we just housed 1-0 wins of DJ Campbell, we certainly can do it. Whether this lot of players believe in themselves, as Cook said, he said that he don't believe they think they do. But like I say, some of those teams, these teams have got to have off days. Like we've got to raise our. There's got to be something. There's got to be a carrot at the end of the stick that these players can see, and Yeah. You know what? I'll be optimistic and I'll say I'll say 6 wins out of 9, definitely doable. Definitely doable.
Perfect. Lloyd, Rochdale Monday. Very quickly, as you ran off the show, what are you expecting, and what are you hoping for?
I think I'm expecting something similar. I'm expecting an Ipswich result that'll probably grind out a result. Probably won't look overly great. I'm gonna go 2-1 Ipswich again. I think. But I think we might. I think we'll go 1-0, 1-1, 2-1, something like that. But yeah, I think we'll win again. The bottom of the league, but I think it won't be a convincing performance.
Okay, lovely. As always, Sunday, 12 p.m. this week, the Talking Town podcast, because we're going a bit earlier because the ladies are playing in the FA Cup women's action. But we're back on Sunday, Easter Sunday, midday, to unpack Blue Actions this morning, discuss all those. And as always, you fans are more than welcome to join us live on the show via the link. But Jordan, as we sign off, who was your man of the match today?
Toto, all day long.
Perfect. Curtis, yours?
Toto.
Lloyd?
Toto.
Lovely. Hopefully 3 points on Monday, but we'll see you Sunday, 12 p.m. To unpack it all again. With love, with care. Look after yourselves.